This is the 2021 Lincoln Aviator. Now, can this compete against the best three-row luxury SUVs on the market? Or is it just a Ford Explorer in a fancy suit? We are going to find out. Lincoln first introduced the Aviator nameplate almost 20 years ago, and back then it was basically a Ford Explorer with a fancy grille and a very powerful V8 engine. Now, today's Aviator still shares its hardware with the Ford Explorer. However, it's competing against some really high-end SUVs. Now, this particular model is a Grand Touring Black Label model. Grand Touring means it's a plug-in hybrid, and Black Label means it is the best that Lincoln has to offer. So it has to go up against the hybrid versions of some serious heavy hitters, the BMW X5, the Volvo XC90, and the Porsche Cayenne. When it comes to design, there is nothing more important than proportion, and that's what the Aviator has, magnificent proportions. Now you come around front, you've got this really nicely detailed grille with a light up Lincoln badge. Take that, Mercedes. But as you come around to the side of the car, you start to see what I'm talking about, this big 21-inch wheel that is pushed right up against the bumper. And it gives the Lincoln Aviator the stance of a rear-drive performance sedan. It subtly communicates that this is a performance-oriented vehicle. Now, as you come down the side, we got this nice big Aviator lettering. This is the only place on the outside of the vehicle that it says Aviator. Bit of chrome, gotta have that. It's Lincoln, you need your chrome, right? But one of my favorite details is back here. It doesn't show real well on this darker painted example, but it's this blacked out D-pillar. And what this does is it gives the impression that the roof is floating over the top of the vehicle. Out back, we have this full width taillight. The rear wiper is actually concealed up under the air dam. And of course, you have quad exhaust because that says power, not hybrid, power. Overall, we have this nice, clean, elegant design that doesn't rely on a lot of jewelry, and that is good styling. By far, one of the most important aspects of any luxury vehicle is the interior, because this is where the person who spent all that money is going to spend all of their time, and Lincoln has really done a fantastic job with the Aviator. Look at these materials. You have this beautiful soft leather on the dashboard here with this contrast color stitching, this kind of turned machine look metal, piano black here. I mean, they've kind of taken every luxury vehicle surface and thrown it into this car all at once. But the effect is really, really rather nice. It makes you feel like you were justified in spending almost $90,000 on this vehicle. Now, the Aviator has massaging front seats with 30-way adjustment. So many adjustments that they're divided between the door panel and the center seats. I don't think I have 30 parts of my body that even move, but there you are. You've also got this lovely 28 speaker stereo and of course a digital dashboard on this nicely integrated 12.3-inch screen. Now, one of the things I like about the Aviator is the fact that a lot of luxury vehicles, they overwhelm you with a complicated user interface. But Lincoln has given you traditional buttons and dials for the climate control system and even for the stereo. Look, you've got this nice volume knob and a tuning knob. Nice and simple, nice and old-fashioned. On the 10.1-inch center screen, the home screen is divided into 3 sections: your map, stereo, and your phone. You press any one of them and it expands. And of course, the Aviator has voice recognition. And one of the kind of controversial things among the Motor Trend staffers is that the button for voice recognition is right here, right under the thumb rest. Now, some people on the staff really like that you don't have to move your hands off the wheel to press that button. Other people found that when they were making a turn, they would press the button, and all of a sudden their Aviator wanted to know what they wanted. And then, of course, wouldn't understand them, and
please try again.
This is, of course, a 3-row SUV, so what about the back rows? Well, the second row is gorgeous. Individual captain's chairs, heated and cooled in this Black Label model. They get their own little control screen. The third row seat is really a little bit cramped for a vehicle of this size. But with that seat in place, you still get a useful 18.3 cubic feet of cargo space. And of course, if you need more, you can fold those seats down. They are power operated because folding your seats manually, that's for the little people. Among hybrid luxury SUVs, the Aviator Not the most fuel efficient, but man, is it powerful. Under this hood is a 3-liter twin-turbo V6, a 75 kilowatt electric motor, and it drives all 4 wheels through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Total power output for this thing is 494 horsepower and 630 pound-feet of torque. I feel like I'm talking about a Ferrari. And same with the acceleration. Motor Trend has clocked this baby to 60 miles an hour in 5.4 seconds, which is more than quick enough to get your kids to school. And it'll tow a boat. 5,600 pound towing capacity for this thing. Now, we mentioned this is a plug-in hybrid, and if you have the battery fully charged, it will go up to 21 miles on battery power only without using the gasoline engine. However, if you drain that battery and you're just running on the engine, you can only expect about 23 miles per gallon or so. What about safety? Well, the Aviator gets a perfect 5 stars from NHTSA, and models that have the active turning headlights get a top safety pick rating from the Insurance Institute for highway safety. In terms of optional equipment, you can get the Aviator with adaptive cruise control and emergency evasive steering. Now, one system that isn't yet on the options list, but we're hoping will be soon, is Lincoln's hands-free semi-autonomous Active Glide driving system. It's excellent. It's just become available on the 2022 Navigator, and we're hoping that Lincoln will soon add it to the Aviator. So what's it going to cost to put one of these babies in your driveway? Well, the Lincoln Aviator starts around 53 grand, the Grand Touring Hybrid model just over 70,000, and this one I'm standing in front of is just under 90 grand, 89.6 if you want to be specific. Now that might seem a bit high for a Lincoln, especially when you consider that the hybrid versions of the BMW X5 and the Volvo XC90 both start around 65 grand. Porsche's a lot higher, it's about 85 grand. But that's before you start on the options. And those European cars, they can get really expensive once you start piling up those options. We're talking well into 6 figures, particularly for the BMW and the Porsche. Now, 90 grand is obviously a lot of money, but when you consider how good this Aviator looks, how nice the interior is, all the features you get, not to mention all the power, and the fact that it's a plug-in hybrid, we think it represents a really good value. If there's one thing to know about the Lincoln Aviator, it's that no, it is not just a gussied up Ford Explorer. It really is its own thing. It's a magnificent luxury SUV with a lot of power, a beautiful interior, great styling, and a great feature set. We think it's a great buy on a 3-row luxury hybrid SUV. To see vehicle rankings and our complete buyer's guide, go to motortrend.com/cars.